Hey guys, what's happening? Zedakae has arrived in the building and wants to know from you guys if you want to become better at this crazy new Nintendo title called Mario Strikers Battle League. It's one of the latest titles from the Mario franchise published by Nintendo to continue on the Mario Strikers series as last previously played on the Nintendo Wii. If the answer is yes to be wanting to become better at this amazing game, then you have come to the right place. Now, we dive into touching base on how important customization on these characters and their builds are on your chosen Mario legend. Before we start too guys, as always, if you enjoy the content, please hit that like, comment and subscribe buttons to keep up to date for all future content everybody, as it's really important for the growth of my channel and I just want to take you guys on this amazing ride with me. Anyway guys, let's get straight into the action and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Alright people, so you're probably wondering what's the big deal with the customization on this game anyway. The first thing to keep in mind is that each individual item will give you a positive or a negative stat drop, which can be good or bad for the striker's purpose on your team. So essentially you need to team build and think ahead of what your team's playstyle is and how you can best execute it. Think of it as if you're watching a real game of football and you need to set up your team in a way to play the way you want them to play, and the best way to reach this goal is by switching and changing your equipable items up until your desired goal has been met. These equipable items, or also known as gear, can be attached to your head, arms, body and legs individually as you flick through each corresponding tab, as you can see on the screen. However, keep in mind going from no gear to a new piece of equipable gear will cost you 100 tokens and will reap you of a buff of +2, but like with any buff you will also get a -2 debuff to another attribute across the board. Each attribute is defined into strength, speed, shooting, passing or technique, and all have their pros and cons on any given striker. So now we will go a little bit more in depth into a few of the aforementioned information in regards to attributes and what gear should be used on each striker. So now we have touched base on the basis of the gear settings and what can be involved. We need to determine how to get the best out of a specific striker you're using. So for example, Toad is a super quick mushroom striker from scratch, but he lacks strength, which essentially stops opposing strikers from pushing you off the ball so easily. So depending on your playstyle, if you were wanting to get the best out of Toad, you need to use his best attribute, the best of your ability, which could mean buffing his speed stats in even more, and therefore also adding some technique so that you can run at your opposition relying on dodging as your best friend. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the alternative, which is to make what's called an all-round build. This basically means to balance the attributes out more evenly using the appropriate gear in the gear settings menu. When it comes to team building, it generally you would like to have a good shooter, someone who can dribble the ball well and create space with potentially good passing, and I personally like to run one all-rounder or two brutes who mainly sit as defenders to knock the opposition off the ball. If you try to utilize this concept across the board, then you can team build quite easily and can do some experimentations with your strikers to see what's best and what works for you. At the end of the day, it's entirely up to you and your creative thought process, but unfortunately turning Toad into some crazy tanky strength monster mightn't work as one might have first thought. Alright, so upon explaining all this information to you guys, now we're going to go through some potential different builds. Obviously, like I mentioned before about the balanced build or a more specific build based off that striker, whether it's Mario, Luigi, Peach and so forth. So let's start off with Mario. So Mario, for a balanced build, we suggest using a muscle helmet, chain gauntlets, chain plate and cannon boots. If you want to run a more of a technique or a shooting build, then definitely look at the trick helmet, turbo gloves, cannon plate and cannon boots. Luigi, for a balanced build, is a turbo helmet, muscle gauntlets, chain plate, cannon boots. Luigi's technique and passing build is a chain helmet, chain gauntlets, trick pad and trick boots. Peach is based around speed and technique. You want to basically get her up and down the field as quick as possible. So we can definitely go with the trick helmet, turbo gloves, trick pad, turbo boots. If you want to go something more balanced and all-rounder, then you can go the muscle helmet, trick gloves, chain plate and the cannon boots. Now Bowser is usually really tanky, really strength-based striker, and obviously likes to shoot really good as well, really good shooting stats. So we can run the turbo helmet, turbo gloves, cannon plate, and the cannon boots. If you want to run a balanced build, you can run the turbo helmet, turbo gloves, trick pad, and the trick boots. Obviously, we've got Toad, as I like to call Toadie a lot. It's obviously crazy with passing and speed, so obviously we'd like to run the Turbo Helmet, Chain Gauntlets, Chain Plate, and the Turbo Boots. The other alternative for Toad, obviously, is the Balance build, which is more along the lines of the Chain Helmet, Trick Glove, Turbo Pad, and Muscle Boots. Then we've got one of our favorites, we've got Yoshi. Yoshi is a bit of a crazy character, as you all know. It's obviously orientated around the shooting and passing, so we'd like to run the Cannon Visor or Chain Helmet, Cannon Gloves, Cannon Plate, Chain Boots. If you want to go a Balance build for Yoshi, then we could definitely run the Trick Helmet, Muscle Gauntlets, Cannon Gloves, Muscle Chest, and Turbo Boots. Then we've got one of our brute guys, Big Donkey Kong. He's obviously strength and really good at passing as well, so we'd like to run Chain Helmet, Chain Gauntlets, Muscle Chest, Muscle Boots, and then for a Balance build, we'd like to run Trick Helmet, Turbo Gloves, Turbo Pad, and Cannon Boots. We've got Wario, a bit of a balance guy, like strength and shooting as well, Turbo Helmet, Turbo Gloves, Cannon Plate, Cannon Boots, and then for a balance build, we'd like to run Turbo Helmet, Turbo Gloves, Trick Pad, and Trick Boots. We've got Waluigi, who's also strength and speed, Turbo Helmet, Muscle Gauntlets, Muscle Chest, and Turbo Boots. And the balance build is Chain Helmet, Cannon Visor, Cannon Gloves, Chain Plate, Cannon Plate, and the Chain Boots. And lastly, we've got Rosalina, which is a strength and shooting, really good shooter, and I'd suggest using her a lot for shooting. Really great striker. Turbo Helmet, Turbo Gloves, Cannon Plate, and Cannon Boots. And then lastly, for the balance build, guys, we have the Turbo Helmet, the Chain Gauntlets, Trick Pad, and the Turbo Boots. Now, this basically is a rough idea for you guys if you want to run a balance build or a more specific build orientated around these guys. As you can see with like Roy on the screen here, you can see me just basically going for all the random different characters and just showing you like the minus debuffs and the buffs between like passing and strength and what each thing gives you. So obviously experiment as to your liking. Alright guys, so now we're basically just coming towards the end of this video. I'm just showing you a couple of clips of obviously me playing the game itself. I really think it's a really solid game. I hope I've given you enough insight on this, on these customization and how important items are in this game. I've used Waluigi quite a lot, and the guy is just super busted at times, but a lot of people will also run like Toad, or they'll run like Rosalina if they want someone that can score. I find essentially having someone that's a little bit balanced, someone that's kind of quick, has a decent amount of strength, like you want to keep in mind, you don't want to get pushed off the ball as much. You want to ensure that you can get that nice shot off from range, or you can do like a little power up as seen on the screen there, and just ensure that, you know, it get the job done. Obviously, you can go more into depth into other styles like hyper strikes and stuff like that, and there's obviously different strategies around that stuff as well. Like obviously that's more oriented around items. But for the meantime, you just want to have a very balanced team. You want to ensure that you've got generally a speedster. You want someone that can basically create space, got good passing, which generally most of the time is Toad. You want like your brute guys like Donkey Kong and, you know, Wario or Waluigi or even Bowser to sort of like keep the defense going and making sure that you actually can get the ball off the opposition before they get off a decent shot and score. And then, yeah, as you can see with DK here, obviously you're going to get an amazing hyper strike, and yeah, hopefully it goes in. But basically, guys, I hope you really enjoyed the video today. I've had a lot of fun making this one of my first Mario Strikers videos. I'm really enjoying playing this game. It's a really fun game to play. It's definitely not as tilting out as other football titles like FIFA and stuff like that, so I would definitely highly recommend playing it. I would definitely like give it a good shot. Just try not to tilt like I do on stream. If you would like to see my stream, obviously you can find it on my YouTube channel. I go live most nights of the week from 9 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time onwards. And obviously, like mentioned at the start of the video, guys, please hit that like, comment, subscribe button, as it helps me dramatically into the foreseeable future as I grow this YouTube channel. So, once again, guys, thank you so much for watching this video today. I really appreciate everyone that's put the effort into coming through and watching this video. And yeah, as usual, guys, keep it real, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Zedakae out.